Time for Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero. When it comes to news here on KALH, weather always comes first. A series of clipper systems are going to bring areas of rain and snow showers from the Great Lakes into the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic through the weekend. A strong clipper may produce heavier snow and gusty winds over the weekend as well. Closer to home, a cold front's going to move across the area, bringing breezy easterly winds to much of the state, especially the western-facing slopes. Temperatures are going to rebound again by the weekend and into Monday. Breezy conditions with an enhanced fire risk will be present Sunday through Tuesday. We'll have another look at the weather following this news.
This is Range Control with roadblock information for Thursday, February 27th. Roadblocks are subject to change without notice. Highway 380, Highway 54 are scheduled to remain open all day. Highway 70 is scheduled to be blocked once at 6:40 a.m. and will last approximately 1 hour. This block will be located at the red block, at mile marker 164, and at yellow block, mile marker 200. The Las Cruces Gate, Owen Road, and Nike Avenue will also be affected.
This story could make a great movie, but this is real life. After more than 40 years, one of the United States' most wanted men is now behind bars. Walter Lee Kaufman died at the age of 22 in Arkansas, but his name lived on, just not the way you'd expect. Stephen Craig Campbell is accused of stealing Kaufman's identity by using his name, information on passports, driver's licenses, and social security card for over 40 years until he was located in the town of Weed, right out your back door. Special Agent in Charge Raul Bahanda from the Federal Bureau of Investigations spoke with KRQE.
I'm assuming at some point he probably started forgetting that he was who he was and he did what he did.
Stephen Craig Campbell, 76, has been accused of taking on a false identity for over 40 years.
At the end of the day, so it was identity theft. It's really what we're looking at.
Walter Lee Kaufman, a man believed to have attended the University of Arkansas alongside Campbell, died at 22 in 1975. Campbell is suspected of applying for a passport under Kaufman's name in 84. And renewing it multiple times with a photo of himself and his current address. Why? Well, because in 82, he planted a bomb at his estranged wife's boyfriend's home. The problem was, the boyfriend didn't open the box. His wife did. He was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, but then skipped bail and remained on the lam under a fake name this whole time. Law enforcement said he requested a replacement Social Security card in 1995, this time with an Oklahoma driver's license. The lack of technology at the time, though, worked in Campbell's favor. In 2003, Campbell relocated to Weed, New Mexico, where he purchased property and lived ever since, a location where he felt he would not be found easily. The scheme was flagged by officials after his visit to the New Mexico Motor Vehicle Department in 2019. Through facial recognition, agents were able to tie him to his real name and the outstanding warrant for his attempted first-degree murder in Wyoming. Campbell has been wanted by the U.S. Marshals since '82. Agents and law enforcement kept the bomb story in mind when they approached his home on February 19th of this year. When they arrived, Campbell was armed, ready for a fight. Law enforcement found 57 firearms and large quantities of ammunition at his property. Ultimately, he surrendered. Campbell's been charged with passport fraud, but Buhanda says charges could be added for the firearms found on the property, and he still faces the murder charge from the crime he committed in Wyoming in 1982. As a reminder, the Tularosa School Board's having a special meeting this morning at 10 a.m. via Zoom. The Republican Party of Otero County invites all Otero County Republicans to tonight's meeting to get a legislative update from Otero County Sheriff David Black. And you can also learn how some of the new laws may affect the people of Otero County. Tonight at 6 at the 19th Hole Restaurant, 2351 Hamilton. Well, today is Thursday. It's time for a Thursday Thought from my good friend, Pastor Lauren Noble.
Good morning, 95.1 listeners. This is Pastor Lauren with our Thursday Thought. What I've been thinking about is whether you drive a BMW or Chevy, the road remains the same. And whether you fly first class or economy, your destination is the same. And whether you use an Apple or a Samsung phone, the people who call you are the same. And whether you wear a Timex or Rolex, time remains the same. And there's nothing wrong with dreaming of a luxurious life. What is important is that need does not become greed, because needs can always be met, but greed can never be fulfilled. It is easy to get caught up into the wanting more and becoming greedy trap, and someone once asked Rockefeller, who made millions off of the steel business, how much money was enough money, and his response was always $10 more than you presently have. And I think in today's society, that'll probably be a little closer to more than $1,000 than you presently have. But you get the point. We always want more, and we will never be fulfilled with greed because we're always seeking for more. And needs at least can always be met. And sometimes I have to remind myself of that because I dream big things, and then I think, well, I probably can't have them, but at least I have this that is meeting my needs. Let me say a prayer for us, Lord. I do hope that we remember that our needs can always be met, and greed will never ever be fulfilled, and it just leaves us longing. No matter how much we have, we want more. And help us to keep our eyes focused on what we need in life, and focused on you, Lord, who meets our needs in life and gets us through and sustains us on a daily basis. Amen. Until we meet up again on the airwaves, blessings to you.
News from around the state in just a moment. This is Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.
Local news from local perspectives, from local voices. AlamogordoTownNews.org. Local sports, local events, and local happenings and more. Nonprofit owned and operated by Second Life Media. We are Otero County. AlamogordoTownNews.org. Heard daily on Crazy KALH Radio 95.1.
Directory Plus is the right size book. It's the book if you need a phone book.
That's what just one person has to say about Directory Plus. With its red cover, features, colorful yellow pages, and lots more, it's no wonder people all over use Directory Plus.
It has so much more information. You can cross-check phone numbers or addresses or pretty much anything.
Look on the plus side, Directory Plus.
I'm a big fan of Directory Plus.
Manuel Guillen has been accused of killing 2-month-old Kalani Sue Moreno and then keeping it a secret for almost a year. We discussed this story recently. Brianna Stallings, the mother, initially stated that she rolled on top of the baby while the baby was sleeping, which killed her, so they naturally buried her. But that changed. This audio is from body camera footage of the interview where detectives said that Guillen finally gave up his secret. I'm going to warn you in advance. This audio will disturb many listeners.
Manuel, I'm going to be honest with you. We know what happened. Like, the facts don't lie on the autopsy report, okay? We know that the injuries occurred before death.
He was being fussy, and I got upset, and I could buy her leg and yanked her, and she wouldn't stop crying, so I sat on top.
He sat on her. Once the baby stopped crying, he said he started CPR, seeing that she wasn't breathing. Detectives had to ask if Stallings had a role in the baby's death. Guillen says no. Guillen has been charged with deadly child abuse, but he and Stallings have both been charged with evidence tampering. They've also both been released from jail while awaiting trial. You'll recall a story where we shared about 36-year-old Patricia Madrid, who was charged with locking a child up in a chicken coop. Yesterday, Farmington police say they were called to a home for a shooting, and that's where they found Madrid suffering from a gunshot. Medics rushed her to the hospital, but she later succumbed to that injury. Investigators believe the suspect left the area prior to the officer's arrival. They do have a photo on their Facebook page and are requesting the public's assistance with identifying and capturing this individual of interest. The Las Cruces Police Department is investigating a shooting which occurred yesterday evening around 8 o'clock near the New Mexico State University campus. Officers responded to a subject down with possible gunshot wounds. No information has been released on the severity of the wound or if there were any transports. The Las Cruces PD Criminal Investigations Division is investigating. House Joint Resolution 10 would remove a felony conviction as a voting disqualification from the state constitution, and it is advancing in the Roundhouse. This bill, if passed, would give the right to vote to inmates serving time in prison. Here's an exchange between Representatives Pamela Herndon, a Democrat from Albuquerque, and Martin Zamora, Republican from Clovis.
I'm not quite sure I understand your question. If you're saying that voting is going to cause a riot, is that your concern?
Madam Chair, if there's two prisoners in there and they're passionate about the two different presidents that ran for president of the United States this time, and they get to arguing about it, and they cause a fight or a riot, that can happen.
What you're describing now, in terms of people not agreeing, is occurring inside the prison or outside of a prison, so it doesn't make a difference.
Okay, while I'm all for restoring the vote after sentence completion, which we already have, and again, I think it's a great thing because if you pay your debt to society, then your voting rights should be restored. But I do believe that this bill is a very bad idea. But the reason given has to be one of the stupidest things I've ever heard until I heard the rebuttal. How about just saying, as a prisoner, you have many of your rights and privileges stripped away as part of your punishment. Voting is one of them. Problem solved. The bill has cleared the first committee. Yesterday morning it passed with a 5-3. If the bill clears the legislature, it's going to go to voters for approval. The Ben Archer Health Care Centers in Las Cruces have been accused of denying care to individuals unable to provide proof of citizenship. U.S. Senator Martin Heinrich posted on his X account an image of a sign hanging on one of the doors. It reads, "Due to executive order ending taxpayer subsidiation of open borders, dated February 19th, 2025, any ineligible alien who entered the United States illegally or is otherwise unlawfully present in the United States does not qualify for federally funded services at Ben Archer Health Center." Heinrich's office verified that Ben Archer was employing the practice at school-based health clinics, scheduled appointments, and same-day appointments. Heinrich states that what the health clinics were doing was illegal, and they reversed course. He went on to threaten healthcare providers, stating that they will be held accountable for enacting similar actions. But if they're not paying for it out of their pocket, and the government's not going to pay the doctors, does that mean the clinic simply doesn't get paid? Colonel Joseph Roth, United States Space Force, spoke about the newest branch of the U.S. military and its work in the Land of Enchantment, as well as the impact the Space Force has on the state.
One of the organizations that I have the privilege of leading is the Department of Defense's Space Test Program. That is the oldest continuous running space program in the Department of Defense. The only other program that has run longer is the B-52, which is still flying and operating today. They've had a lot of historic firsts. So since their time in 1967, launching the first experiments into space, we launched all kinds of cool technologies. And our goal is to develop those technologies into real capabilities to provide for the joint force. I'll give you a few examples. Space domain awareness technologies. These are systems and sensors to be aware of what's around you in space and to ensure that nobody is trying to take advantage of you in space. We do things such as precision navigation and timing. We're getting ready to launch a really cool satellite called NTS-3, which is a next generation GPS satellite, hopefully this summer. There's been some delays with the launch vehicles, but that'll provide new capabilities for the GPS you have today in your phones. We're also exploring laser communication. We had a real successful experiment with NASA on the LaserCom Relay Demo Program. That was very successful, and as those technologies mature, they will find its way into industry, commercial systems such as Starlink and others, and really help the nation stay above the threat and ensure that space remains a peaceful domain.
You can hear that conversation in full on the KRWG website. Sports and weather are coming up next. This is Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.
They are role models and educators. Their work requires a great deal of time and energy for very little pay. Who are these unsung heroes?
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
The simple truth about education-based athletics in New Mexico is this. Without a committed team of coaches and administrators, they just wouldn't be possible. School sports, they bring out the best in all of us. This message presented by the New Mexico Activities Association and the New Mexico Athletic Directors Association.
There are 18 games for New Mexico girls basketball today, including Chaparral at silver. 13 games for New Mexico varsity basketball today, including Hondo at Alamo Navajo, and Redoso heads to the Institute. Your Crazy Radio spot-on weather forecast for the Tularosa Basin today calls for mostly sunny skies, winds gusting up to 20 miles per hour, mostly clear tonight, sunny tomorrow. Your high today in the basin, 64, low tonight of 36, high tomorrow, 68 degrees. In Cloudcroft, mostly sunny skies today with a 20% chance for snow, winds gusting up to 31 miles per hour. Mostly clear tonight, winds gusting up to 15, sunny tomorrow, winds gusting up to 20. Your high today in Cloudcroft, 43, wind chill is going to make it feel like it's 10. Low tonight of 25, high tomorrow, 48 degrees. Local breaking news can be found on our website, alamogordotownnews.org, and you can learn more about Crazy Radio by visiting kalhradio.org. Also, check out the Crazy KALH Radio YouTube channel. That's where we post our daily newscasts, complete interviews, and other information which concerns everyone in the Tularosa Basin. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel if you've not done so already. That way you too can remain informed of the goings-on in the Tularosa Basin. And that concludes today's edition of Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.